welcome to this week's Battle of the Ports as we take a look at Atari's 1988 arcade release, Vindicators. Now, while sounding something like a beat 'em up, Vindicators is actually a shooter in which one or two players control a tank in a multi-directional scrolling level. The game begins by asking the player to choose the difficulty level. The higher difficulties make the enemy stronger and the player weaker, and also start the player in a later set of levels called Galaxies, with some power-ups. The easier difficulty starts with the player in the first level with no bonuses. The player controls a tank with constantly draining fuel and must navigate through levels encountering obstacles and enemies. Along the way, the player may find power-ups including tank fuel, currency in the shape of stars, shields, and two types of sub-weapons: smart shots, homing missiles, and bombs, powerful rockets. Each level has a key that will open a door at the top of the level, which will either take the player to the next level or to a special hub with multiple power-ups that must be escaped in 10 seconds or less. If the player is unable to escape, the tank will lose half its fuel. After escaping the hub, the player then proceeds to the next station. This arcade version, in addition to having special 2 joystick controls for each player, it also contains 3 special contest levels, with 1 contest star in each level. With 3 contest stars and 9 normal stars, the player could complete a special time-limited contest level in which the player could win a t-shirt. A later revision of the game was released which eliminated the contest levels and stars. Playing Vindicator will take a while to get used to due to the control system, but once you are accustomed to it, it's a pretty good game. I especially like the soundtrack, which is not something I often say about a Western-made arcade game. The first port is for the Atari ST. This was ported by Consult Computer Systems in 1989. The core gameplay is here, but it lacks any excitement due to there being no in-game music. The levels feel quite empty because of this. The controls are typical tank controls, in other words pushing up always makes you accelerate, while pulling down will always make you reverse. These controls work well enough and are quite easy to get to grips with. It's just a shame that the core game is rather empty feeling. Oh, and that the frame rate is horrible, but that's part of the course with a lot of computer games. Next up is the Amiga version, also by Consult Computer Systems. This version is pretty much just like the Atari ST version, but now with a slightly better frame rate and slightly better colour. Sadly, the audio is panned too far to the left, which is really annoying. unreleased game time now with the Apple II GS version. This and an Atari Lynx version were mentioned back in the day, but only this Apple II GS version has been found so far. It is unknown if the Lynx port was even developed. Well, as you probably already noticed, this version doesn't scroll like all the other versions. This is due to the Apple hardware limitations, but at least the visuals are pleasant. Sadly, just like all the other home ports, there is no in-game music, which, as you've guessed, really takes the excitement away. Well, actually, to tell the truth, there is in-game music, but it crashes, so who knows, maybe this may have been pretty cool if ever completed. Amstrad CPC time with a colourful rendition of Vindicators. Sadly, this is where the positive points end, as this version is just very dull to play. The enemies seem to take more hits than they should, resulting in a very dull experience. Sadly, the controls don't help. They are too sensitive, making turning a slight amount a real pain. Commodore 64 version is like the Amstrad version in terms of level design, but what is different is the whole presentation. There's quite a bit missing, from the cool title screen to the star fields as you progress from one area to another. Gameplay is smoother than the CPC, mind you, so that is a plus point. Unfortunately, it is a bit boring to play, just like all the other ports that we've looked at so far. Sorry guys, but I have absolutely no idea how on earth this ZX Spectrum port is meant to be controlled. Does it use dual sticks or something? According to the game manual, it controls via the cursor keys, but how on earth do you turn? Going up and down is straightforward enough, but turning seems to be completely random. I'm afraid I can't give any opinions on this one. Let's finish up with the NES version from Tengen. This is a bit of a strange one, as the level design follows the home microports rather than the arcade version. It is also missing the in-between area intermission scenes, which is a shame as they add quite a bit of atmosphere, I feel. But how does the NES version play? Well, very average at best. The controls are what you'd expect, but it feels kind of stiff. It's hard to describe really. The arcade game felt nice, while this feels like a chore to play. It seems that none of the home ports of Vindicators is very good, which is a shame. let's take a look at all those versions of Vindicators running side by side.